What's going on, people? Phonicz. Right to truth.
Yeah. Cool-headed, but I'm too deadly. All the way up to the top where I'm going, nigga, where you headed? King shit, overruled peasants. Don't lose your bitch for 2 seconds. All I gotta do is talk to her for a few seconds, and she'll be trying to get me smooth back it. Gooseneck, man, marijuana, get the move ready. Crew rapping since 9th grade, high school freshman. Young nigga, I was too restless. You guessed it, no cap, it's a new era. Midnight with my last bitch and my last bitch. That's 2 X's, dos X's, 2 N's. I was gone for a few seconds and came home.
What's up, people? What's up, man? What's good with y'all, man? Welcome back to Right to Truth, man. It's your boy, Phonicz. Yo, man, I was man down for like a week, yo. I was sick, man. Yeah, this time of year, you know, that's when it really hurts, man. I had strep throat, man. And so doing any podcast was just strictly out of the question. But I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be talking to you guys, and let's build as we normally do. So the gentleman that I have on the screen is one Vivek Ramaswamy, Republican candidate for president of the United States of America. And when I first started hearing him talk, man, like I got real excited. You know what I'm saying? Because he was saying new and fresh things and making it so plain for the average layman to understand. I think he's different from any of the past candidates who ran for any kind of presidency. You know, they always stood with the status quo. And Mr. Ramaswamy is against the status quo somewhat. A lot of his ideas are very radical, and we're going to go through a few of those today. Look, man, my main thing is anybody 45 and younger, old enough to vote, we need new blood. We need new, fresh ideas. Don't you see that these same old politicians are not getting it done? Even Donald Trump and all his foolishness that he got going on. We don't have time with all this bickering and back and forth. We need to build the country back to a powerhouse. We're not paying attention to what's going on around us. And meanwhile, the enemy is getting stronger and we're getting weaker because we're so divided. And Vivek's message is he wants to bring the country back together. And I am with that. I am so tired of the racism and the genderism and all the other ism. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the media pushing that agenda. I just saw Larry Elder on The Breakfast Club. And these dummies, and they're dummies, they're not ignorant. Ignorant means that you don't know. They do know, but they still push a dumbass woke agenda. So they're constantly cutting Mr. Elder off, and he was making some very valid points. I encourage you to go look at that interview. And they had a chick on there, Tesla, whatever her name is, angry black woman, you know, coming off very aggressive. And they keep asking him about the white power structure. See, black people seem to think, not all black people, the intelligent black people don't think this, but the ones that are stupid, they seem to think that whoever's going to go in office is going to work for their needs and only their needs. And he's going to cater to them. But never mind everybody else. This is what they did, Black Power Media on YouTube, when they had Cornel West on there. They really think in their mind that this man is, never mind the rest of America, he's just going to cater to black America. These are the people who I told you, and I coined this term, they are part of what we call the delusional majority. They seem to think that things are only going to work in their favor and never mind everybody else. And we're all going to adopt their ideologies and their beliefs. No, we're not. This is America. We are Americans. And I like how you also talked about the divisiveness and how that's been encouraged to be diverse, but not to be an American. And look, I done heard a lot of you Negroes, I ain't no American. Yes, you are. I could drop you anywhere else in this world and you wouldn't know how to survive because you're so pampered. Your ass is very soft. Pause. You can't survive anywhere else in this country, in this world, man, because of all the things that you're guaranteed here. You're not going to go to another country and just blatantly talk against the whole power structure and you're still walking around breathing. You're not going to do it. So I'm listening to Vivek on many different platforms, man. And that's why I have the Army up here, man. And, you know, I'm in the Army and, we enlisting right now. Let's make this a real national movement. I want this video liked and shared thousands of times. Let's get his message out there and look, anybody can understand it, y'all. He's speaking very plain. It's very simple. And it's very important that you listen to his points. Because let me tell you something, too many of y'all are blind followers. You follow behind Trump and all his bullshit, but what is Trump really talking about? All he ever says is make America great, that's it. And insult people. But he doesn't have any real platform that he's standing on. And you should be smart enough to realize that. We know Biden needs to go home and sit down somewhere and die. He's done. He's done. I don't necessarily blame him and his presidency on what this country has become because it was messed up long before that, not to mention that whole disaster with COVID and how everybody fumbled the ball on that, from the top down. But yeah, I definitely want to get into some of his points. He said that immigrants should have to enter this country legally, and I'm totally for that. You're not going to come in here legally and then you're going to get, citizen status. No. That's not how it's going to work. You come in illegally, you should be sent back, you and your family. There's a right and a wrong way to come in this country. And there's been thousands of millions of people that have come in this country the right way. And they are now U.S. naturalized citizens. He also said using our military to secure the southern border. I totally agree with that. It's out of control down there. It's out of control. And it's like, no, they keep saying, no, there is something that can be done. Send our troops down there. He also spoke about electing people to run the government who actually run the government, not the deep state. What he means by that is you have all these other different entities that are really calling shots when it comes to policy. It's not the president. And he wants to eliminate those powers so that the powers do go back to the legislation and the president. And he also talks about the corrupt agencies, the FBI, CDC, ATF, and the U.S. Department of Education. And he would destroy all of them, and he would get rid of all of them. And I totally agree with that. What do we need all these government agencies for? We're seeing now how the U.S. Department of Justice is being weaponized against a candidate that's running for president. Whether Trump is guilty or not, he should have his right in court. But however, you do this now during the presidential campaign because you don't want him to run again. That is wrong. It's un-American. It's illegal. The U.S. Department of Education is a joke. They're not doing anything. The student debt continues to rise. I heard on the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne and them was asking Larry Elder about, well, look at the schools in these communities. I'll go back to Malcolm X. Malcolm X said, and I quote, "You're a fool if you allow your enemy to teach your child." But see, the thing is, you can't teach your child because you don't have an education either. So my thing is, don't blame the schools because we already know what schools is nowadays. It's just indoctrination. They're not teaching our kids anything. When I went to school, my book bag was heavy. We had textbooks and workbooks. Now all they get is a bunch of papers. And they're done with their work 20, 30 minutes into a 45-minute or a 60-minute class. Then the next half of the year, they're preparing to take these state tests so enough kids can pass the state test so the school can continue to get funding. It's ridiculous. He also says that we will no longer be dependent on our enemy, China, for our normal way of life. And I agree with this. I totally agree with this. It's so hypocritical that on one hand, China's the enemy, but we depend on them for everything. He also spoke of Taiwan and the significance of Taiwan and the minerals and the stuff they have there, which is what makes our phones and computers and all these other things. That was really eye-opening to me because I didn't know that. However, I have seen in my life, looked at many tags and many things that I've got over the years, toys, whatever have you, made in Taiwan. But as he also said, these countries have to be able to protect themselves before we're going to go in and protect them. How does that work? Why are we sending our young people to die on foreign land when they're not even defending themselves? No. You have to protect yourself first. But back to China. China is the enemy. Let's not get that twisted. Stop thinking just about Russia. China is the enemy as well. Communist China. You know, he spoke about how we're being taught to celebrate our differences and diversity, but how it's made us forget our own, similarities that make us all Americans, which is very true. Everybody is so isolated. This is the delusional majority that I'm speaking of. Everybody is so isolated in their own. You got the woke. You got the LGBTQ plus NYC, whatever. You got them. You know what I'm saying? You got the religious right. You got the far left. You got blacks. You got Hispanics. You got Caucasians. Everybody is so divided, and nobody has any sense of nationalistic pride, and they're forgetting that we're all Americans, man. And you can say whatever you want about this country, but it is the greatest country in the world, period. And those of us that did put on the uniform and volunteered to defend this country against all enemies, whether foreign or domestic, whether we believe that then, I'm sure many of us believe that now, who did engage in conflict overseas. Other nations, he said, have to be the first protectors of their national security. Like I was just speaking of. All this ally stuff and allies, and this is what make America. No, this is what's caused America to get into these wars that they haven't won and they would never won. This is what happened with Afghanistan. This is what happened with Vietnam. Us not minding our own damn business. And waiting to help a people who didn't want to help themselves. And you almost systematically destroy the generation with the Vietnam generation, and how many, the ones that did survive can come home, who were disillusioned, who were hooked on drugs, who were mentally and physically disabled for the rest of their lives. And the ones that did come out somewhat normal, it was just an existence. Hence, we saw the same thing 20-something, 30 years later with the war on terror, so-called war on terror, that I participated in. He also said, if you invade the Western Hemisphere or any of our land, you will be dealt with harshly, and we'll bring hell to you wherever you're at. What he was referring to was these Chinese spy balloons and all these little spy bases they have. They should be dealt with swiftly and harshly. Vivek also spoke about how Chinese fentanyl has made its way to Mexico. And this is a modern day opium war in America. And he's absolutely right. And America knows where it's coming from. But see, they have so much business they're doing with China, whether it's on the table or under the table, they're not willing to address this. So thousands of Americans are losing their lives to this very dangerous drug that is coming in this country at lightning speed. That has to stop. You don't think there's people responsible for that? And look, I just want to go off the cuff real quick. Politicians are greedy. These people are wealthy many times over, which in my humble opinion, to be a politician, you shouldn't even be allowed to have that kind of income because it's not your pay. It's all these backhanded deals they're doing. Look at what we're seeing with Joe Biden and his Negro son, your Hunter. Oh, Hunter's a street dude. Babies out of wedlock, snorting powder. He about that life. And now he got his daddy entangled in, which maybe it wasn't no entanglement. They both was clearly about this, doing business with China. It's like, damn, we can't even trust the president and his son? And they out there doing dirt? He says his first duty as president with regard to foreign policy would be to end the war, the Ukraine war, on terms that advance American interests. And why not? We're giving them billions of dollars. All the stuff that we got infrastructure issues. We got so-called inflation. We got all these problems, but we got blank checks going into Ukraine. Let these people fight their own wars. Why does our money have to keep going to these, these countries that engage in these conflicts? That's not the duty of America. And I stand with Vivek as a nationalist, and that's their problem. We can help in little ways, but not giving billions of dollars. Not when we have all the issues that we have going on here in this country. Rising gas rates, rising home costs, a record number of homeless people in our major cities. We're not addressing what's going on here, but we can help somebody abroad. I have a problem with that. Talked about Russia and China and their military alliance and how it's the single greatest threat that we face. He also went on to say how both political parties, they're not discussing this, and they're not. I saw Nikki Haley today on Fox News. She's a presidential candidate, Republican, and they asked her about policy with China. Policy. There is no policy with your enemy. We have nothing to talk about. Period. And it's just that simple. He also spoke about genderism, wokeism, COVIDism, and how these are the new religions. And that makes sense because they are. These are what people are dedicating their time and their focus to and their energy. And this is what they're praising. The woke left. We're not going to take it no more. We got demands and we're going to be heard. And you're going to give us. But we're not going to give up. We're not going to give nothing back to this country. Because you know what? We don't owe you nothing, country. Your forefathers enslaved our forefathers. And y'all going to make it right. And we're going to keep with our foot on your neck and keep telling you that you're wrong and you're a racist and this is a white racist supremacist society and you're keeping us down. That's what these, you know what I'm saying? It's victimhood. And I've said this and I say this on every platform that I'm on. For a man to beg another man for anything, you're not a man. Whether it's the white man, the pink man, the brown man, the blue man, doesn't matter. If you're begging another man for something that you feel that you're owed outright and you don't take it, you're a coward. I don't believe in reparations. I don't believe this generation of black people owed anything. In fact, I think it's the exact opposite. I think they should be ashamed of themselves in basically destroying the legacy that our ancestors left for us. I don't mean ancestors just going back to the slave. I'm talking about ancestors like my grandmother, may she sleep in peace, and my grandfather, and my father, may he sleep in peace. People who came up during the Jim Crow South, who dealt with real racism and real white supremacy, and who knew the Klan and saw the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan, that is. And they overcame that, not to become bitter, angry people, but to find their place in society. I can almost relate to Vivek Ramaswamy's story. My grandmother maybe didn't have more than a third grade education, from the South, moved to New York City, and would eventually open 2 restaurants in Harlem, and would move with my mother to a nice, very nice area in Westchester County, New York, in the early 70s. A black woman in an all-white neighborhood in the 70s. So I don't subscribe to all of that other BS that you Negroes talk about and you think was owed to you, and all you other people who think something's owed to you and somebody should give you. You're not going to force that on the rest of us. Delusional majority. So that's why I stand with Vivek Ramaswamy. He says the real divide in this country is between people of the old religions and new ones. Secularism, wokeism, transism. And he's absolutely right. And everybody is missing a point. And it's funny how all you people who just want something, you don't know anything else about how this country functions. That's why he offered to, he said he was going to institute a civics test for kids in high school. You want to vote, you should know how this country's ran. You should know the same basic things that people have to know when they become naturalized citizens here. I agree with that. Or you go serve the military. Although I believe every person should have to do at least 2 to 3 years in the military, period. Just like they do in other countries. Because you people are so spoiled, but you don't understand why you're so spoiled. You need to go through the sacrifice of being away from your family, millions of miles away from home for months at a time. You need to know what that feels like. You need to know what it feels like to be around people from all different colors and walks of life, and how you have to work together. Not you need to, or you want to. You have to work together in order to survive. That's what we was taught in the military. I might hate your guts and hate where you from, but guess what? I'm depending on you to save my life, or vice versa. I see a young man that has a lot of potential. I see a young man that can bring this country back to some type of prominence. He's a very intelligent man. I encourage you, my listeners, to take some time and just listen to some of what he has to say. Don't be so single-minded like the rest of these people. My generation, the generation behind me, and the generation before me. It's up to us. This is our country now. Never mind these old bastards. They're dying. They're on their way out. We can make the change that we want to see happen. And ensure that everybody's rights and needs is met. But it has to be a collective effort. And it has to be one accord. We're Americans. That's it. And let me explain this too. Stop listening to these entertainers and these ignorant people who don't know anything about anything. Charlemagne and his show, The Breakfast Club, he's proven this time and time again. You're having people on here that's intelligent and you're not of their caliber. Why are you interviewing them? These are people that are not classically trained journalists as it is. They don't even know what kind of questions to ask. So they stay with one stupid talking point. Yeah, with a white system, and what kind of system, and who runs the system? And the system is white supremacy. That's what's keeping my people down. It's the same stupid talking point over and over because they're not intelligent. They don't truly know what's going on. You have somebody like Vivek on your show or Mr. Larry Elder. These people are running for the presidency of the United States. All you're talking about is race. What about the economy? What about their foreign national policy? You have this angry black woman on, she doesn't even know anything about that. She's constantly cutting Mr. Elder off. All she keeps talking about is white supremacy. These people are stupid. They're not intelligent and they're proving it. You listen to these ball players. Wait till you get closer and closer to time to go to the polls. They'll bring all the athletes and the entertainers out. And you know how the Democrats do. The Democratic Party is a party of victimhood. They are not, look, their agenda is not to raise the people up so the people can be victorious and stand on their own. It's to keep the people down. That's how they keep jobs. And you people who are on that side, you should really feel very ashamed and disappointed that they look at you as so little. That you're so stupid and you're so poor and you're so ignorant. You can't fight for yourself and you can't do this. And you're pleased with that? You shouldn't be pleased with that. I just gave you a few of what I thought were very important points that Mr. Ramaswamy touched on. He has many more. Unlike the rest of his peers who are running also for president of the United States, he's the only one that's been very active. He's the only one that's been on all these many platforms and constantly promoting his message and what he plans on doing. Where's everybody else? Trump said, they got a Republican debate coming up Tuesday. He's not even going. Because we got these stupid people in this country who are going to vote for him regardless. He's going to get on, he's going to do his rallies, and he's going to insult people, and he's going to say what he's going to do for America, and he's going to tell you his track record before, and they're just going to be clapping. It's really shameful. But the impossible happened before. So I'm really confident the impossible could happen again. I enlisted into the Ramaswamy Army. I hope you do the same. I hope we can, really catapult him to the top Republican candidate for president of the United States. He can defeat Trump, and then he can go on and defeat Biden's old dusty ass. Because that's what we're going to need. Man, y'all make sure, y'all donate to the movement. That's number one. So we can keep this going on a higher level. Because I'm really starting to I'm gonna get out here. I'm really starting to, I'm gonna start ethering these dudes. All of these so-called people who think they got some type of mentality, I'm gonna start ethering them, and I'm gonna start really getting them. And I want to debate them. I want us to have a real debate. Because they switch, the Candace Owens of the world, they all swear they know what they're talking about, but they don't know shit. And you think they know what they're talking about because they talk a little bit better than you. Why don't you slow down? Let's slow down their words and really listen to what they're saying. And you're going to hear this. Wah, 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 wah. Nothing. It's not going to be of any significance. A president doesn't run on just one particular topic, one particular objective. There's too many things going on in this country. And when you listen to your candidate who you're listening to, you want to vote, you need to hear those things. Stop just waiting to hear what caters to you. Well, yeah, we're going to do this for black people. We're going to get them $10 million a piece in reparations. Or, black people ears would be wide open. Oh, the trans. We're going to have trans in all schools. All the bathrooms going to be trans. We're going to integrate all sports, the military, everything. It's going to be completely trans and then straight. You'll get their ear. Whatever the majority, can take that really caters to them, that's what they run with. That's what they run with. I'd like to thank everybody out there for listening to me, man. Continue to support the show, Write the Truth. We're going to blow, man. We're going to get where we need to get, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real talk, man. And it's to write the truth. And it's only by a matter of time that the ignorance that's going on YouTube and all of that, that's going to eventually fade away, man. And then people who are in my age group or a little bit younger and who are concerned about this country and who want to make a difference, we're going to be the ones on the other side having these discussions and moving stuff forward. All right? So look, man, like I said, go check out Vivek's stuff. Go support him. Become part of the Army. And let's just do this damn thing, man. Let's put some young blood in the White House, man. 38 years old, young man. Let's get him in the White House. Let's get some real things accomplished. And that's all I'm saying. Like, subscribe, and share. This is Right the Truth, man. It's your boy Phonicz, and I'm going, right?